Catching Pokemon is essential to every trainer's journey, but what if I couldn't catch a single one? No Pokeballs, no wild encounters, just me, and the few Pokemon the game hands me. And to make things even more painful, no trading, no codes, which means no easy outs. So can I beat Pokemon Brick Bronze without catching a single Pokemon? Let's find out. Like everybody else, my journey started with me choosing a starter. So out of all 27 different ones, I went with Chikorita, which I named Echo. Now, before you freak out wondering why I picked Chikorita over the best starter in the game, Mudkip, it's because in Roria Conquest it gets a special ability called Triage, which gives us +3 priority on healing moves like Giga Drain and Draining Kiss, which is so broken. Anyway, with that little lecture out the way, I took on Jake, knocking out his Eevee with a couple of Razor Leafs. After that, I headed into Gale Forest, beating all the trainers and Linda, of course. I also did a Dynamax raid, which gave me 3 rare candies, letting me evolve Chikorita into a Bayleaf. I should have bought a lottery ticket with this luck. With this new evolution, I now felt ready to take on Chad, but there was a problem. I couldn't get past the second gym trainer because Echo missed Sleep Powder 4 times in a row. 4 on a Magnemite that loves spamming Sonic Boom. Thankfully, Echo eventually pulled through and beat the tomato-headed trainer, meaning we could now actually take on Chad, which went surprisingly easy, getting us our first gym badge. So to celebrate, I decided to steal this old man's Eevee, which I named Loki. I had big plans to evolve this Eevee into a Sylveon, because it learns a super OP move called Hyper Voice, which hits all opposing Pokemon. So to get this much desired Sylveon, I bought an affection ribbon from the Battle Coliseum, which meant all that was left was to get Loki to learn a fairy type move. However, I didn't realise that yet, but with this new gym badge recently obtained, I decided to double it and give it to the next person by heading towards the second gym, to test my luck against a gym I was fully weak to. After taking care of Team Eclipse, of course. But with that out of the way, it was time to take on the gym leader. And it was going pretty well, thanks to Giga Drain, until Sebastian sent in his Fletchinder. This Pokemon was the ultimate rage baiter. He knew Taunt, Roost, Overheat, and another move which I can't remember. But the point I'm trying to make is, every time I would hit this stupid bird with Giga Drain, it would just roost back to half HP. I've never been so close to running on the Pokemon field and fainting the Pokemon myself. Luckily, I had some self-control, holding myself back by leaving the game to evolve Eevee into that Sylveon, which let me bag the gym badge on round 2. After this much deserved victory, I headed into Route 7 where Echo evolved into a Meganium. I also beat the Lumberjacks, allowing us to progress into Laguna Lake to get our 3rd team member, Aerodactyl. But there was a slight issue. This fossil Pokemon is pretty rare, and I only had 10 UMV batteries. However, I have plot armor, so I got to diving, and around 4 dives later, I found an old Amber. Guys, what can I say? The main character always wins. Or do they? After heading back up to the surface, I revived the old Amber and decided to call this spiffing Pokemon Skull. It also had a jolly nature, making this experience that much more delightful. By the way, if you haven't noticed by now, there is a name theme, so guess it down in the comment section below. Moving on, I teamed up with good old Jakey Boy on Route 8 to take down some of the trainers, getting me some much needed XP. This let me take down Team Eclipse once again. It's all in a day's work. No photos, please, guys. That just left us with one more obstacle, the 3rd gym, where I lost. Luckily, I did win on the 2nd attempt, thanks to revive spamming and getting us our 3rd gym badge, aka the coolest looking badge. But then, as I was leaving the gym, Professor Cypress had the nerve to talk to me. In an attempt to calm down, I headed to Rose Cove Pier, which also happens to be the location of our next hunt. The Pokemon we're after? Manaphy. It only has a 0.1% chance of washing ashore. That's good odds, right? Anyway, I got to work, and after about 40 minutes of just sitting there, an egg finally washed up. I picked it up and started running to hatch it as fast as possible. But then, Roblox glitched and deleted my shirt. How embarrassing. Still, no glitch could ruin the moment. Manaphy hatched, and I named it Kai. So, to celebrate, I challenged Jake and Tess to a battle to show off my strength. And let me tell you, I barely won. I was literally hanging on by 2 HP and a dream. I got lucky this time, so I decided to get serious. I taught all my Pokemon proper PvP moves. Echo got a Life Orb, Manaphy got some leftovers. Don't ask where, by the way. With this new team, I was ready. I started steamrolling through Kraganos Peak. Everything was going smoothly, and I was having a great time. Until disaster struck. Another shirtless man showed up. Are you serious? I panicked and ran straight back to take on the 4th gym. That's when I got blinded by Stefan's bald head. So I did what any normal person would do. Set up 6 Calm Minds and swept his entire team. 4th gym badge secured. To celebrate, I bought an Aerodactylite, so Skull can now Mega Evolve. And I also got myself a hoverboard, meaning I was now ready to take on Professor Cypress, who didn't actually take his shirt off this time. Big dubs. And we also got an invisible Absol. This just keeps getting better. Anyway, The game plan for this battle was once again to set up a million Calm Minds and then spam Giga Drain and Draining Kiss. Luckily, that plan worked because I'm kind of underleveled. Also, we named Absol Shade because of his super cool invisible cloak that he won't let me have to skip the trainers before the 5th gym. So instead, I just had to keep my 2-meter distance from everybody in Roria. But sadly, that didn't last long. I had to go and save Prince Ryan from Team Eclipse. I know, guys, maybe one day you can be as heroic as me. Moving on, I made my way into the 5th gym. I saw many interesting things. A flat as a pancake Stunfisk, a guy taking a break underground, and the gym leader falling on my head in an attempt to harass me. Luckily, I saw this coming and wiped out his entire team with the click of my fingers, getting me the 5th gym badge of this run. He also gave me Humsa Core. That's Rock Smash backward, by the way. But this allowed me to head towards Floroma City, the most boring place known to man. But I needed this gym badge to complete the challenge. So I got back on my hoverboard, ready to skip every trainer, which didn't really go to plan, kind of failed half the time. But eventually I made it to Floroma and made quick work of Fizzy by doing the classic strategy of this run, Calm Minds and Draining Kisses, which got us our 6th gym badge. Also, to top it off, I got drafted into the NBA with those fruit shots. However, I was ready for change, and I knew what change I wanted. A new starter Pokemon. So I flew back to Mitterstown and bought myself a Cyndaquil. With this new Pokemon added to the team, I named it Solaris. And this Pokemon is essential to our team for one reason only. Eruption, because this move was literally the definition of broken, of having a base power of 150, hitting all adjacent Pokemon, basically a roided version of Sylveon's Hyper Voice. So to show my devotion to the newest team member, I spent all of my money on rare candies to evolve Solaris into a Typhlosion, which probably wasn't the best move for what came next. Jake. I thought we were boys, clearly not. This is where we meet the second stupid Pokemon of the run, Hatterene. This thing might take the cake for the most annoying Pokemon in the world. It set up Calm Mind and then just spam Psyshock. It wiped out my entire team about 3 times before I actually made it through. At this point, I don't even need to tell you how I did it. You can probably guess. Anyway, once beating Jake, I skipped all the trainers with way more success this time, making it into Frostville, which meant it was 7th gym time. And honestly, it was actually pretty easy. Beat it first try. Much deserved for the future champion. That's me, by the way, no biggie. Next up was tests, and it kind of went like this. Kiss 1, Kiss 2, Kiss 3, Kiss 4, Kiss 5, Kiss 6. Oh, would you look at that? We beat Tess. It's a miracle. Now we could head for Port Decker, but that wasn't our next stop. We had a new team member to find, and this is kind of crazy. I wanted a Kubfu, and the way to get that was by beating the construction boss at the Twin Bell Tower. Problem, there are like 10 trainers in the way before I could even challenge this construction boss guy. But as you know, people don't call me the next Albert Einstein for nothing. So I started making a plan. Step 1, save in front of every trainer. Step 2, crush their heads with pristine black hoverboard. Eventually, I did make it to the top, and it was time to face the boss. The battle was going surprisingly well, even though half of his team was legendary. But this Keldeo got lucky and hit Echo with a critical hit focus blast. What are the odds? The move's not even 100% accurate. No worries though, I had revives. This let me win the fight with Meganium once again. And to be fair, Solaris did put in some work too. But anyway, the good part. A free Kubfu. Yay! Then came the big question. Do I evolve it into a single strike or rapid strike form? It was a tough call, but I went with single strike since I already had a good water type Manaphy. All I had to do now was buy a dust stone to evolve this Kubfu. So I headed to the stone shop and surprise, I didn't have enough money. Curse you, rare candies. Why'd you have to be so expensive? Luckily, I managed to get the 20k Poké Dollars. I did it by selling my kidneys. Just kidding, I sold all the fossils I hadn't revived. With that, I finally evolved her and I gave her the name Nyx. I also taught her Wicked Blow, which is going to be pretty helpful for the 8th gym. But before we could do that, we had to go and take care of Team Eclipse, which I made quick work of by beating Jake, thanks to his Garchomp, which loves spamming Dragon Tail, while I set up a bajillion Calm Minds, which meant it was now time to head into Hooper's Lair, where the Big C is waiting for our final showdown. However, there's a slight issue. As soon as I entered the cave, I ran out of repels. Not ideal. Luckily, I kept my cool, sparing most of Team Eclipse by simply hoverboarding over them, eventually reaching the battle scene, which was actually a pain because of his first Pokemon, for Alligator, because he either killed me or he didn't, simple as that. So I basically had to build my entire strategy around what this croc was thinking, but after figuring that out, the rest was smooth sailing. And to put the cherry on top, Professor Cypress decided to retire me by handing over 150,000 Poké Dollars. Dinner's on me, guys. So after obviously running from Hooper, we could finally take on the 8th gym. Things were going pretty well. Shout out to the 8th gym tutorials on YouTube, by the way. Please tell me I'm not the only one who still can't memorize those puzzles after 7 years. But once I got through it, it was time to actually face the gym leader. I was really determined to win because if I lost, I'd have to do those puzzles all over again. Please no. The battle started strong, surprisingly good chemistry with our non-caught Pokemon, but that didn't last long. Captain B sent out her final Pokemon, Mega Gengar, and wiped my entire team. Just great. Yeah, great. So I took my anger out on the Pokeshop guy, buying every rare candy I could. Sorry guys, dinner isn't on me anymore. But luckily I did win on the second try, getting us our 8th gym badge of this run. That's better than dinner though, right guys? Now that we had our final gym badge, we could finally take on the Roria League. But there was still one more Pokemon I wanted to catch before testing my luck against this broken Elite Four. Zora. Yeah, I probably butchered the name. Don't roast me in the comments. Anyway, this mythical beast is faster than Usain Bolt with a speed stat of 143, which is gonna come in clutch. Only problem is I have to beat Chad's fully loaded shiny team to get it. And I did. First try. I'm the real Chad now. He slid me this goated Pokemon, and when I checked the PC, there it was. Please have a good nature. Oh, forget I said anything. Now, this team was ready for training. This meant just feeding them a lot of rare candies until they pop. And with that, we were basically prepped to take on the Elite Four. So here goes nothing. False alarm. Tess wants to battle. Bro, leave me alone. Luckily, that fight was smooth. Also, side note, shiny Miraidon is actually so nice. I didn't realize. Anyway, time for the Elite Four. The first member specialized in ice types and double battles. But this is where Solaris, the Typhlosion, comes in. Ready to cook. One-tapping everything with Eruption. And to top it off, Manaphy got a whopping 0 hits in this situation. Well done. 1 down, 3 to go. Next was Steel. You'd expect Fairy first, but no. Not gonna lie, I was kind of scared. Typhlosion was putting in serious work though, getting the strongest form of Glaze known to man. Yes, I spammed Eruption again, by the way. I'm not sorry about it either. But here's where things got tough. It was actually time to take on Fairies now, and my team doesn't actually have any super effective moves. But hey, beggars can't be choosers. I was ready until I realized while writing this that I'd spent an hour trying to beat Infrared. I was actually winning to start off with. Then the food shopping happened. I had to pause the game, came back, and Roblox kicked me for being AFK. Rookie mistake. Oh, I was so sad. I nearly quit, but I remembered everything I'd been through. I wasn't about to give up now. So I wiped away the tears and I tried again. And this time I won. 0% luck. 100% skill. I could literally smell the champion battle. Only one more Elite Four member stood in my way, a fighting type specialist. I shut him down by having Meganium kiss his Pokemon, and it worked. It was now time to take on the champion of Roria, and I'm facing him with a team I didn't even catch. And they're all underleveled. So here goes nothing. Oh wait, rejoin. Hopefully you guys didn't see that. Cut that. Actually, these rejoins happened for a good 40 minutes. Eventually I cracked the code. I figured out what Brad eats, when he sleeps, and all his Pokemon moves. Okay, maybe just the last part, not this first two, of course. Anyway, we won, but it wasn't over yet. We know this from the last video. Someone else wanted the title. Lando 6400 or 6400, either works. And if you guys remember in the last video, he also loves Legends. So do I, to be fair. But no more small talk, let's battle. Lando leads with a speed Deoxys. Good news, I'm faster. Bad news, I'm not allowed to battle. So I go for Wicked Blow, nearly KOing it. Deoxys sets up Stealth Rock and then switches into Zacian, aka the most broken Pokemon known to man. But I was one step ahead. I switched into Typhlosion, flamethrowed it into next week, where Lando responded by sending in Darkrai. So I switched back to Urshifu, lined up a close combat and knocked it clean out. Textbook execution. The world champ difference, me and Wolfie Glick. Then came Old Man Alakazam. He got roasted. Lando brought out Rayquaza. Perfect. Skull Ice fanged him, causing a flinch, and also forced the switch. I could have won a game of bingo with this luck. I also knocked out Deoxys shortly after, but then he brought in the god, Arceus. Totally fine until he deleted me with Shadow Claw. But I'm the main character. Urshifu one-punched Arceus into an orbit. Finally, only Rayquaza was left. I finished it with one final kiss. And just like that, we became champion without catching a single Pokemon. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Feel free to check out this video next where I take on the Pokemon Brick Bronze by only using starters. Also, game Discord in description. Bye-bye now.